Are your emails coming across as code? Do you know how to communicate clearly without losing approachability at work? Hey, hi, welcome back to another episode of the Confident Woman Lead podcast, where we talk about all things promotions, more money, navigating the workplace and all of its politics, and communicating with confidence. I'm your host, Coach Anita, and today I want to talk to you about something that has come up in my community. Inside of Confident Woman Lead this month, we spent a lot of time focusing on our communication. And based on that, I wanted to talk about your tone and specifically your tone in email. Yes, your email has tone, sis, right? And if you're doing it right, you want your email to have tone. You want your writing to reflect your voice. It's what makes you unique. But specifically, I want to talk about if you are struggling with your email tone, how you can balance being clear and direct or matter of fact, even without coming across as cold or unapproachable. Now, it's something that I have had to work on. So trust me, I understand. Most of the things that I talk about are things and skills that I've had to refine myself. So if it's something that you need to refine, don't worry about it. I got you. That's what I'm here for. That's what CWL is here for. So it's been something that I've seen inside of CWL, but I also know that many of you face. You're at work, you're trying to get things done. You have your to-do list and you are handling business. And you are doing one of two things. You're keeping your emails short, but maybe not sweet, or they're long and confusing. And your tone may be good in there, but there's not clarity. When your emails are short and to the point, maybe you've been given feedback that your tone feels off. Maybe someone has said that they come across cold, distant, disrespectful, or air quote, a little too direct. And you're thinking, I just wrote a response. You asked the question, I answered it. I don't understand. What is the big deal? Sound familiar? Well, let's get to how you can communicate clearly and keep a more approachable vibe authentically, more of yourself, right? So I've had people tell me that I need to be more warm and fuzzy. I don't know what fuzzy is. But there's nothing about the DC girl in me that's probably fuzzy. I'm a product of my environment, even though I'm an educated product of my environment. And I will say, I've been in the South long enough where I understand Southern culture enough. I can be warm as I have gotten older, understand leadership and being more vulnerable. It has allowed me to lead from a different place. And in that, I can be warm and approachable. But fuzzy, like, well, what is fuzzy? A teddy bear? Like, yeah, it's a no for me. But fuzzy might work for you. Find the words that you can use authentically. I can use warm. I also use diplomatic element. Okay? People hear your tone in emails because they hear your voice. In their head, when they are reading your email, they are saying the words in your voice. So however they perceive your voice in real life is how they're going to read that email. So if they feel like you're not approachable in real life, if they are intimidated by you, scared to talk to you, then they're going to read your emails that way as well. Then we may like to think that emails have no time. They're just words on a paper, but that is not true. When you read a book, can you visualize it? Think about your favorite book. One of the best books I read was The House of Eve. And I could visualize myself. And it was a two-part story, meaning it's telling a story of two different women in their journey that collides at some point. I won't tell the rest because if you haven't read it, what's on your list, I don't ruin it. Nonetheless, I can visualize it. I'm all up in it. I've escaped. I'm a part of the story. People visualize words. People hear your voice in words. Words evoke feeling in people. So the words that you use can evoke a feeling. I'll give you an example. If someone was to tell you you need to be more agreeable and they put that in writing, you might feel some type of way because of the word agreeable. I'm not saying you specifically, but some of us may. So words do evoke emotion. Words that lack emotion, warmth, because that's what warmth means, the way people talk about it, comes across as cold because it lacks emotion and it doesn't evoke anything in people. So it feels hostile to them. It feels cold to them. And we talked about this earlier this week in one of our meetings inside of CW, and we were practicing in our labs communication. So we have skill labs where we work together on kind of before and after scenarios and what we would do different using the tone technique. If you haven't listened to the podcast on tone technique, there is a podcast where I talk all about the tone technique. So I'm not going to talk about it in detail in this episode. So go back and listen to that. And one of the members was talking about, she's all about efficiency and getting straight to the point of her emails. What are the next steps? What's the deadlines? What the decisions are, etc. But again, the feedback has been the emails feel cold or unapproachable. In her mind, she's just trying to be clear and efficient. That way, everyone's clear. There are no misunderstandings about what I told you to do, when I told you to do it, and when I expected to receive it. You feel me? Now, I know, because I know many of you listening can relate to this. We have been taught that being direct is the fastest way to communicate and to understanding. But sometimes it leaves people feeling like they can't reach out to you, like they can't ask questions, like they can't collaborate with you, that you can't be approached. And it also creates feelings of overwhelm or intimidation in people because then they don't know what to do. And we know that in the workplace, relationships are everything. Relationships are a great commodity and currency in the workplace. You can be the most skilled woman in the room, person in the room, but if people feel disconnected or shut out by your communication, it's going to impact how they work with you, the extent to which they work with you, the proximity or the level to which they work with you. So if communication is something that the leaders had said that you need to work on, they're likely not telling you. And so what ends up happening is you will get that exceeded expectations because you did more work than they expected you to do, that they could even have imagined. But you won't get promoted because they don't want to be in that proximity with you all the time. And ouch, I know that might have hurt, but that's why this podcast exists and that's why Confident Women Lead exists. So if that's you, I encourage you to sign up for our upcoming challenge and then get inside of CWO. So then the question becomes, because I love you, how do we strike balance, Coach Anita? How do we be direct or matter of fact, efficient, effective in all of things, and still keep the door open for collaboration, engagement, and getting things done, respect, etc. And so I want to offer a couple of tips to help you do that, right? So I've made you aware of a gap. Here are some quick strategies that you can use as you're writing emails, as you're responding to emails to keep your energy positive, to keep your tone positive, to keep some level of relatability in your responses and in your messaging. Number one is know which type of email you're sending or receiving. Is it informational? Meaning no response is technically needed. Or is it actionable, where the decision or next step is required? Getting clear on this is going to help you decide when to reply so we can manage our time effectively in our relationships and how to frame your responses. Two, acknowledge before you act. It is easy to jump straight into the business of it all, to get it done, to respond immediately. Here's what I need, or this is what we're doing. But in doing that or responding that way, I want you to remember to acknowledge the person first. Something as simple as, thanks for sending this over, or I appreciate the update, shows people that you see them and their effort. Seeing people is reciprocal. And it is the biggest lever to having people follow you. People that feel like you see them will follow you. You catch that? So I want you to make sure that you acknowledge before you act. And it also makes people feel like having a conversation with you. Like it's less of a task. It makes it more enjoyable because now we have some relatability, some respect, some engagement. And now I want to be a part of it too. Now, mind the balance. Number three, action versus engagement. Even though you're not necessarily required to respond to an informational email, again, a quick acknowledgement can go a long way in keeping communication open. Instead of feeling like they're sending information into the void, into the abyss, or not knowing if you read it or anything like that, your team or your colleagues will know that you're paying attention if you do something as simple as say, got it, thanks for sharing. Letting them know that you are paying attention to them, that the work they do does matter, that if they went out of their way to do something for you because they didn't have to, that you appreciate it, even if no further action is really needed, no response was needed. And so based on our conversation inside of CWL earlier this week, we talked a lot about communication, like I said this month, and we've had weekly challenges around it. But coming out of that call, what it made me understand and to realize is that my members needed a tool. So understanding that many of you, just like some of the members inside of CWL, we all are working on improving in our own ways. And a big part of what's standing in the way for women of color, it's not your skill, it is your communication in some form. And in most cases, they are not going to tell you that. But if you are getting an exceeds expectation, it is likely that there's only a couple things that's standing in your way. And one of those things is proximity because they don't like the way you communicate. It's off-putting to them. And I'm not saying that you need to change entirely. I'm saying we just need to extend your vocabulary, extend your awareness, extend the tools and options available to you. So with that understanding, one of the things I did coming out of our Tuesday call was I created an email clarity matrix and an email tone cheat sheet for the members inside of CWL. And so these tools will help you figure out, the members figure out when to respond to emails, how to do it in a way that is clear, but also approachable because sometimes we just don't know what we don't know. In those tools, I walk through common email situations where you're either getting an informational update or needing to respond to a request and provide you with language that not just professional, but it's relatable and it's engaging. Because at the end of the day, we can be matter of fact and we can be direct, But 9 times out of 10, when we're at work, being direct is probably not the best path. Therefore, it makes it inefficient communication. And that hurts even longer because people want to feel connected in the workplace. And listen, we all spend a lot of time there. There is a case for some level of connection to the people that you work with, even if you don't like them. So it's not just about clarity, it's about making sure that your tone invites collaboration while still maintaining your authority. This way, you're not just efficient, but you're also someone people feel they can approach. Again, proximity. The more approachable people see you, the greater your proximity to the top. You catch that? The more approachable people see you and your skill, the greater your proximity to the top will be, even in your written communication. And so if you're sitting there thinking, this is exactly what I need to work on, I want to invite you personally to join me in the upcoming Speak Like a Leader challenge. This is a challenge where I'm going to be talking all about communication, especially when it comes to communicating your value, focusing on how you speak and write in a way that's not only going to get you noticed, but position you as a leader. Because I know that you are meant to lead. We just need to equip you with the tools so that you can go knock it out of the park and make the impact that you're destined to make. So whether it's emails, meetings, or everyday conversations, you're going to learn how to confidently communicate your message and maintain relatability and clarity. You can go sign up at confidentwomanlead.com/speak like a leader. And I can't wait to see you there. But first, remember, Confident Woman Lead, because we understand that being direct doesn't mean you have to sacrifice being approachable. It's about finding the sweet spot where your communication is clear, relatable, and still make people want to work with you. I love you, sis. Let's get to work.